Hi, I'm Peter Rose, founder of Longwood Currency Trading. Why aren't you making as much money at your Forex trading as you think you should? That's the kind of the topic I'd like to chat with you today, because I've had some emails recently from folks and they all say basically the same thing. I'm just not having the success that I think that I should. Where's the money? Which reminds me, someone asked me the other day, I did a video, and as you can see, the area here, the grass, is barren. There's no snow depth chair. What happened to the snow depth chair? Well, I'll put some pictures up, but we had a really rough winter and the snow depth chair has suffered some major catastrophic structural damage. And where's the snow depth chair? Well, we're going to have somebody look at it and see if we can get it restored. What's that got to do with Forex trading? Well, it's got everything to do with it. Stay with me. So, why aren't you making as much money as you think that you should? Why isn't the snow depth chair holding together the way that I had expected it to? Why aren't you making as much money as you expect to make or think you should make? Maybe the expectations that we sometimes have are unrealistic, huh? I expected the snow depth chair to go on forever. And we look at our trading and we work hard at it. And you make $20 a day or $50 a day or something like that. Or maybe you're making 200 or whatever it is, and you're going, geez, I should be making more. Well, one of the things that you need to consider, two things, is how much do you need to make from your trading, and how much are you capable of making from your trading? I mean, what are you prepared to do? Your trading profits are based on the size of your bank and your skill. It's just those two things. I mentioned that in my last video. And I think that we tend to get away from that. And that's why when I work with someone, one of the primary questions that we go over is, well, what is your expectation? What are you looking to do? And let's manage those expectations. I was emailing with someone not long ago, and I said, you know, how much money do you have to put in your bank? And they told me that, and I said, okay, well, what are you expecting to make on your money? And they gave me a number that was so ridiculously low that I thought, well, this is this is interesting. I haven't run into that before. And I asked them, why are you only setting your target to make that much based on the amount of money that you have? In your expectation, it can't be limited because of competition, or that you can't learn the skills, or any of that. It's a complex market. And I've said many times, it's simple to learn how to trade, but you have to learn how to decompose a complex problem into its corresponding simpler parts, and then you can come up with a simple solution for each of those simple parts. So when this person said, I'm only trying to make X amount, you know, my expectation is X percent return against my invested capital, I said, well, I said to him the same thing as I would say to somebody who's got a $10,000 account, not trading at 200 to 1. I mean, if you're trading at 200 to 1, you can trade 20 full lots against a $10,000 account, right? And so it just doesn't make any sense to talk to people that are trading at 200 to 1, and I don't. But under reasonable leverage, you know, if you had a $10,000 account, could you expect to make $1,000 a year, or $2,000 a year, or $5,000 a year? Well, no, you couldn't. That would be unreasonable. as unreasonable as saying, well, I can get 5% on a if I invest in mortgage-backed securities or go into a index fund at this particular time, I can make 8% or 7% or whatever it is. So, if I could make 5 or 6% a year on my trading, 8% a year on my trading, and sit at my desk at home, I'd be great. Well, yeah, you'd be great, but for the risk that you're taking and the work that you're doing on a daily basis, trading isn't work. It's just that you do it every day. It's like a job, except you have more fun. You don't have some asshole screaming at you, hit your numbers or hit the door. You should be paid for that expertise. You wouldn't find someone going into real estate that isn't doing a high cap rate against their cash flow because they know that they're tying up hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in capital and waiting for the compounding effect of the real estate to take place. Whereas if they just want to set and forget, you go into index funds and you get your 8%. So you have to make more of a return in real estate, right? And everybody understands that. You need to understand you need to make more of a return than anything else that's out there on your currency trading because of, number one, the opportunity to do so that's there, and number two, because why not? If you're involved in solving those complex problems and you become good at it, you should be rewarded for that skill. So you have very, very, very few people that understand how to make money, and of those people, very, very, very few of them make these millions of dollars that that they make in order to drive around in their souped up BMWs and renting villas in the south of France. But for the normal, reasonable trader that understands his craft and isn't going to take outsized risks and has a reasonably funded account and all that stuff, why couldn't you make 40% return on your money? Now, I don't want to get in trouble with anyone. Oh, Peter Rose said you should be able to make 40% return on your money. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you look at the people that are successful at currency trading, those returns and more are possible. I was up 90% against my risk last year until the end of the year, where I went all in very heavily. I've explained that many, many times, but I still ended up 46% on my money. That's after taking a horrendous crap at the end of the year. The year before that, I did 31%. I did the same thing. I mean, I'm in this to build my account to $1 million, not just to pay the light bill and dibble along. I'm not interested in making a couple of $1,000s a month. I'm 74 years old, and so there aren't a whole lot of months that that are going to be there. So why should I do this? I mean, I have fun with that. I enjoy it. I can make $500 a month. I'd probably do that, but I'm looking to make maybe a couple of $1,000s a week, not a couple of $1,000s a month. Maybe $10,000 a week once I get up to the level where I can move to the next level of lot size that I'm working on. Because as you grow in lot size, you have different issues to solve, different problems to solve, and so you have to very gradually work your way up through that. I don't have an expectation. I didn't last year when I started the year out trading 3 lots. I didn't have an expectation that in the next month I was going to trade 20 lots. It took me 5 months to go from trading 3 lot positions, then I went to trading 3 to 6 lots, 6 to 8 lots, and eventually after, I don't know what it was 6 months or something like that. I don't remember, but I just did it. But I went from trading 3 lots at the beginning of 2022 to trading 20 lot positions and more. Not much more, because I had just worked my way up to that 20-25 lot position sizing. I had more money, but you have to be careful about adding that money, because when you take a risk, as I did at the end of that year, I took a big risk on a huge amount of lots, and I lost, and as a result of that, I lost, you know, went from 90% ahead on my bank to 46% ahead. But I'm moving pieces around. I don't have an oversized expectation on the money that I should make. I only say what I could make based on the number of lots that I'm trading, which is leveraged reasonably, and so I have the size of the account, and all those different factors go into me saying, oh, you know, if I'm just piddling around, I should be able to make, you know, $700-800 a day on really my low leveraged positions when I trade. If I and there's another metric that I go by. It's a per trade expectation value. It's you take your total profits that you've made over the year, and you divide those by the number of trades that you made, and that's what each trade is worth. So if I made $1,000 over 100 trades, it'd be $10 a trade, regardless of whether some of those trades lost $50 and others gained $500. That per trade expectation is $10. Every time I put a trade on, I have an expectation to make $10 on that $1,000 account. So, and then you develop ratios based on that, and then you can extrapolate how you would move up in lot size in order to fulfill the actual desire that you have. And that's one of the things. Well, that was the last video I did. I mean, how much? What's your expectation that you want that you need to make? How much money do you need to make in order to justify the currency trading as a pursuit in itself? Somebody started emailing back and forth somebody the other day, which I'm not emailing you anymore. Sorry, pal. I'm not gonna waste my time with you, because they had $20,000 and they were trying to make you know, $4,000 a month. I mean, I just, you know, it's that you don't have the skill, number one, and number two, you certainly don't have the bank size. And if you're trying to take your bank size that you do have and trade that at 200 to 1, which is what you're trying to do, and you just, I mean, I know I'm not going to subscribe to your channel anymore. You're an asshole. Well, you know, I'm sorry, but you're going to lose your money. And you're probably not even there to hear this. Regardless of that, you may not be making the money that you feel that you should be making, because either you don't have the skill or you don't have the understand the correlation between your bank size, the number of lots that you're trading, and how you go about trading those lots. Did anybody out there that you've talked with discuss with you the difference between going all in, all out with their positions, as opposed to staging or building positions or anything like that? There's an art form to doing that, and if you don't understand how to do it, and you do it incorrectly, and price moves against you when you stage in incorrectly, you could lose your account. This is all advanced level stuff. You shouldn't be listening to people that are trying to teach you intermediate or advanced level stuff, even if you're intermediate, because if you don't understand how to trade to start with, you're going to run into problems. And so your primary goal is to ask yourself, do I really know how to trade? And people will send me an email, well, what's your definition of trading? There's an easy definition, and you can look that up in Investopedia or Wikipedia or whatever. It's not my definition of it. My definition is process. It's a process of money management and risk management and position management, those three things that constitute the transactions that you make within the market. Well, how do you do that? What do you do? Oh, okay, do you want me to tell you that in 25 words? What good does that do you? You know, that's why I have a consulting practice. So I work with people on an ongoing basis. And I've simplified that by having a course. I mean, you can say, well, I'd like to do 5 hours of consulting with you. And I go, great. What's the problem that you're trying to solve? Because that's all I can do in you know, a series of consulting engagements is deal with one problem. And what they say is, well, I need to figure out how to do this because this isn't working and blah, 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 blah. Well, you don't understand how to trade. So if you want to learn how to trade, you need to take a course, not take consulting. You're not going to get the solution to your problem in 2 easy hours and, you know, me giving you the blessing, the secret sauce. I give you the secret sauce to solve that particular problem, but that's not the secret sauce to trading. There is no secret sauce to trading. You have to learn how to do it. What's the secret sauce to swimming? Jump in a fucking pool and swim. What is it? And so everybody jumps in the pool and they choke. Then they come out and they go, what's the secret? What's the secret? Well, you have to learn how to swim. Well, teach me how to swim. I got 15 minutes. I'll pay you a couple of $100. Teach me how to swim, a couple of minutes. It doesn't work that way, does it? Well, you can't expect that it'll work that way in your currency trading. Yes, there are people that can sit down, look at the thing, figure it out, and all of a sudden they've taken their $3,000 account to $30,000, and then they're going to $100,000. It's possible, and they're very, very experienced traders that can take small amounts of money on a consistent basis, $200, $500, and run that to a couple of $1,000s. And then they use that money, oh, I don't know, go off on vacation or whatever, and then they do it again. But you have to have a lot of experience in order to do that. Otherwise, you're taking too much risk because you don't understand the trading process. Someone who's teaching you how to take a small amount of money to a large amount of money, you can figure out what the steps are, but you don't understand the trading. All you're doing is blindly following the steps. What happens when price action changes? You're not skilled enough to notice that. You're not skilled enough to notice that price action changes when the guy's doing live term trading and he's showing you how all this shit fits together. But price action doesn't repeat itself. It looks like it does, or it looks like it goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down. Yeah, well, what's the magnitude of the up and down, and what's the periodicity of the up and down movements? You know, those terms in math and physics. The amplitude is how high does the price go before it comes down? How far does it come down when it does that? And what's the periodicity of that? It goes up and it goes down and it goes back up again. That's a full period, right? And so, when can I expect those runs to happen? That's part of trading. You can't just say, well, you can expect that 30% of the time your price is going to trend. 30% of what part of the trading that I'm in? How do I define where I'm in? I got to wait until a swing point? We don't even know what that swing point is until after the fact. And then, in order to judge the periodicity, you have to go through the full cycle. And that full cycle doesn't define what the next cycle is going to be. So that's trading. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to trade my $500 and then I'm going to make $3,000 off that 500, and then I'm going to take another 500 and I'm going to make $3,000, and I'm going to accumulate all that, and then I'm going to take that $12,000 and I'm going to turn that into $70,000. It doesn't work that way because you're not trading. You're doing something very specific to solve a very specific problem when you're taking small accounts and moving them to larger accounts. And there is really no such thing. You're not going to take a $500 account and move it to $30,000. You may get lucky. One person out of 1,000 to 2,000 may get lucky and run that. Oh, you see the ads all the time of some woman, I took, what was it, $300 and took it to $30,000 in 90 days or whatever it was. Stupid. That's not trading. that's just getting really lucky. So, you know, I used to play backgammon with a friend of mine, and he was getting okay, but he always said, I'd rather be lucky than skilled, because he didn't really understand the strategic implications of the probabilities of the dice throw, and so it was just luck to him. Throwing the dice was just luck to him, but it was a funny quote. And yes, you can get lucky and make money, but aren't you into currency trading because you want to make job replacement income? You know, if somebody said to you, you know, we got this job for you and we'll pay you $50,000 for 4 months, but you just have to learn this one skill. But that skill's not transferable into anything else. So you take the job and you make $50,000. Great. What are you going to do for the next 30 years? So I understand you may not be making as much money as you want. You may be trading mini lots or one full lot or something, and you're making, I don't know, $10 or $15 a day to maybe $50 or $60 or $80 or something. You say, I really want to make $500 a day. Well, what's the size of your bank, and what's your skill level? The only thing I suggest to you would be email me, and I can take your particular individual situation and try to help you figure that out on a simple basis, so you've got some basis to start thinking about whether you want to take a course or you want to do something, and you'll have a little bit more information to determine just exactly who you want to do that with. The fact that somebody is driving around in a fancy car and owns a big boat and has $180,000 watch on their wrist, and they all attribute to that to their trading, doesn't necessarily indicate that they can teach you how to do that, because teaching is a skill. It's not something, oh, I'm good at this and so therefore I'm capable of teaching it. You know, I was in graduate school in physics, and I was taking mathematical physics, or mathematics for physicists, a very complicated course, and I had this buffoon out there that was really, really good, and but he couldn't teach. We had one time we were in class, and he was always asking questions. Oh, anybody got a question about the homework? So this guy said, yeah, I got this question about problem 18. So the guy wrote the equation up on the board, problem 18, and he stepped back and he looked at it, and he wrote another line down, which was a decomposition of that problem into this, and he goes, oh yeah, well here, and he wrote the answer down in like 3 steps. Well, we had all worked on the problem, and we had filled up a whole page, a couple of pages of paper of breakdowns of equations and stuff, and this guy's got it solved in 3 lines. Nobody understood it. So he said, you understand that? The guy said, well, no, not really. And so this teacher says, well, there is another way you could solve it. He writes the equation back up on the board, and he writes a line down, decomposes it, and he writes another line down, then he writes the answer down. He said, well, there's a different way you could do it. So he was skipping steps. He was so smart, he was able to do all that in his head. But he wasn't able to understand what the problem was with the person who was trying to solve the problem. He only looked at the problem and his ability to solve it, and he couldn't translate that down. So if you're going to learn this stuff from somebody, you have to learn it from an educator. So not only are you responsible trying to figure out what's reasonable to make and how to size your bank and blah, 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 but the person that you're asking to help you or paying to help you has to be able to convey how to trade. They can't just teach you what a Bollinger Band or a fib level is or all that other kind of crazy stuff. That's all you see out there. Oh, I'm going to show you how to do this fib level. I'm going to show you how to do this trend line. All these jackasses. I'm sorry, you guys that are on there. You don't know how to trade. You don't know what you're doing. You may have got lucky at 200 to 1 and got a lot of money, but you're up there talking crap on there. And those of us who know how to trade just look at you and we laugh. But you've got 20,000 or 50,000 subscribers, and each one of your videos is getting 4,000 views. I don't know what these people are thinking about. They're dreaming. They're watching this shit and they go, oh, I'll put some fib lines on there. Oh, trend lines. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. When it bounces off this trend line, I'm going to go long. And if it was that simple, Why are you losing your money? You need to find somebody who's not stupid and just got lucky. Or find somebody who's working their way through the solution of the problem and has the capability to show you how to solve that problem in terms that you can understand so that you can be successful. And when you start to become successful, you can understand how to get more money from your trade, how to squeeze that trade for a little bit more money. That's a good topic for a video. Maybe I'll do that again. But I've rambled on here long enough. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.